Okay.
Especially when we have a public hearing.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good, you?
Hey, how's it going? Good.
No, it was Steve, do you remember that last?
All right, so now I have something to sign in since we have a planning, since we have a public hearing.
Are you waiting in line?
So go ahead. Yep.
It was out of Minnesota, right? Yeah, I just can't remember.
Sorry.
If I'm not mistaken, that entity that's going up, the one that is at the intersection there.
Yep. Out on
Van Buren Road?
Van Buren Road and the new bypass.
Isn't that novel?
Yes.
It is.
That might have been the last one.
Yeah, that was last.
A couple of years ago. Yeah, it's at least 2 years ago. I'm trying to remember.
All right, 6:01, you guys. Everybody want to turn their mics on? All right, so 6:01, calling the meeting to order. Due to absence of Amanda Jondro, Chair, and Frank McWayne, the Vice Chair, I'm running this, I guess. We have a quorum. Any conflict, pardon me, any conflicts of interest this evening that need to be disclosed? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, was I supposed to bang the gavel?
You can do it now.
Okay. There we go.
There you go.
My apologies. So on to number 2, the approval of minutes from our meeting March 14th. Attached pages 2 and 3.
I didn't see any discrepancies.
I reviewed it also and didn't notice anything.
Move to approve.
Second. We have a motion from David, second from Steve, to approve the minutes as presented. We'll go down the line. Steve?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Maura, yes?
Yes.
JR, yes. David?
Yes.
And Eric?
I'll abstain as I was absent.
Very good. We will call the minutes approved and move on to number 3, public hearing for the site design of Michon Van Buren Road Community Solar Garden. That is pages 4 through 61 of your packet. Starting with page 4, from Penny, city received a design review application for the solar garden.
Yep.
We will open the public hearing and ask for any comments.
And I have the bigger packets that we had at our last meeting. I have some of those upstairs if anybody, I meant to bring some down. But this has got kind of the guts of it. You were given the full package at the last meeting.
Yep.
So you want to open the public hearing
At 6:04?
Perfect. Want to bang your gavel?
Yes, sorry.
Perfect.
Any comment from the public?
You can go to the microphone.
Okay.
Thank you. There you go.
I'm not sure how this works, to be honest. Do I just...
Just introduce yourself and...
Okay, I'm Cindy Bouchard. I'm from Caribou.
Yes.
And I didn't know, like, if this was addressed at another meeting, because I just got the letter last week. So, has this already, like, I don't want to reinvent the wheel here with...
Oh, you're not. Please let us know your concerns. Or...
Okay. I just wondered, with, like, after 25 to 30 years, the removal of the panels, if DEP is responsible, or how are these panels going to be disposed after 25 to 30 years?
I believe that that might be best answered
Yep, we can see if Ralph can unmute himself.
Can he hear us?
Maybe. I asked him, I haven't heard back if he can hear us, okay. Ralph, you want to unmute yourself and answer the question about the disposal of the, oops. Can he not
Finding
hear
the
us?
dreaded mute button. Oh, actually, Penny, you have unmute. I think you have control over that bottom left of your
Well,
screen.
see,
Good evening, can you hear
Oh,
me?
yeah,
there we
go.
see, it
Okay.
comes through here. That's
Okay.
why I have to mute it here.
Okay. Yes, we can hear you.
Yep.
Now, did you hear Cindy's?
And, hello?
Yep, can you hear us? Could you hear the citizen comment about?
Hello, can anybody hear me?
Might have to type it.
Yeah.
Maybe you gotta unmute.
If I do that, this is what's gonna happen.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello? Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I didn't know if that was interfering. So what will happen is, when 25 or 30 years, when this project ends.
Okay, wait just a
What
second.
we do is 98% of the array is recyclable. So everything would be disassembled and sent off for recycling. The parts that aren't recyclable are then also scrapped as part of the recycling process. The recycler would handle that. So that's how we handle that. And we put up a bond also for the decommissioning, so it's always covered. It's not like it'll ever just sit there and rot into the ground. And I apologize, I can't hear if there's any follow-up or if anybody else is talking.
Cindy, do you want to just try?
Can you wanna just
Hello?
speak again, Cindy?
Hello? It
The
doesn't,
other
doesn't sound loud here either.
boxes for you guys are on mute.
Penny, I apologize.
No, it's me. I am terrible at technology, but Bob told me he had it all set up for me. Oh.
Why doesn't Bob make you a cheat sheet?
Because they keep changing it all the time.
Welcome to my world.
While we're waiting,
Okay,
Oh, there
somebody
you go.
try and see.
Hello?
can you hear us now?
Yes, we can. I apologize. So I don't know if you heard everything I said, but I
Yes,
didn't
we
hear
did.
anything after that.
We did
Well, but have
hear.
them say it again so that it's recorded.
Okay. Ralph, if you don't mind repeating your answer.
Sure, no problem. So 25 or 30 years when the project ends, 98% of the array, the whole project is recyclable. And we have contractors that are already lined up to recycle things. So just by way of an example, if a panel was to break, something would fall on it, that would go out to recycling. Nothing just goes into a landfill. The remaining pieces that are not recyclable, which is a very small amount, the recycling agency would dispose of that as well. So there is no chance that something like this would ever just sit there and rot into the ground. We have a decommissioning plan that is approved by the state of Maine that we have to follow along with bonds that have to be posted. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Ralph. Is that adequate?
So it's through this company, not like DEP or?
Right.
it's-
Right. They would be the responsible party.
So, okay, I guess I'm just wondering, what if the company's not around 30 years?
They
That's
have
why
a
they
bond.
post the bond.
That's what that is?
Supposed to
Okay,
be, yeah.
thank you.
Yes. Yeah, so it's covered whether Novel's in business or not, or if somebody else was to take over the project. The municipality would never be on the hook for the disposal of the array. It would either be our company, some other company, or it would go to the bond.
Okay. Now, if there's damage, if they crack from a hailstorm, how, are there safeguards, like, are there people checking these panels, or once they're there?
Yes. So, about once a month, somebody will go out and inspect everything. The utility also goes out. And the way these are set up is that if something was to malfunction on one of them, we would get a notification that something is not right and dispatch somebody out to investigate what is wrong with it. They wouldn't crack from hail.
Okay.
The only way you probably would be able to damage it would be maybe a tree falling on it. And where this particular project is set up, there's no trees that it looks like would be would fall on any of them. But we do check them at least once a month, if not more. But site traffic going onto the site is also very minimal. You know, again, maybe once a month, somebody goes out or somebody from the utility would go out.
Okay. And if it would catch fire, like would the firemen go put it out, or do they let it do its course? Like, is it dangerous for them? Do they just unplug it?
No, so it'd be similar to you know, like if a pole on the street caught on fire, they would shut it off, and then they would use whatever it's rated for. I believe it's a foam that they would spray on it that they carry, you know, similar for gas spills and you know, things like that. But no, it wouldn't be any more dangerous than anything else. It's probably easier to put out than an electric car.
Okay. And there's nothing that leaches into the soil if the panel is intact?
No, there's no fluid or chemicals inside that would leach into the ground.
Okay. So if there's a damaged panel, do you have like a rule where you go within so many days to repair it?
Yes, it would be, I don't want to say immediate, but it would be, you know, probably within 24 hours, somebody would be out to inspect it to see what's wrong with it.
Okay. One moment, please. Okay, I think that's all I have.
Thank you, Cindy.
Yep,
Okay,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Did you have a black and white copy?
Yes.
We probably got an extra one.
Gentlemen, any other public comment on this from the two of you? Not on this subject. Thank you.
And then we had one letter.
We
Someone
did-
wants to read that into the record.
Yep, we did receive a letter dated April 9th, 2024, addressed to the city council. Subject concerns regarding solar panel project adjacent to Potato Farm. There are some similarities to your concerns, questions, Cindy. To the city, Caribou City County, I assume he means council. I am writing to the council with my concern about a proposed solar project to be built off Van Buren Road on the former Searway Farm. I own and operate a farm adjacent to this land. My issue is mainly with future problems that may arise from this solar panel farm. What may seem like an innocent project now may turn into a hazardous situation down the road. I worry that the materials that compromise these solar panels may become an issue if they are damaged through inclement weather, vandalism, or neglect after their usefulness is complete. Often the contamination of your neighbor's land becomes your problem also. As a side note, although this land is not farmed today, some of it does have the potential to be farmed in the future. With all the farmland that is being lost to development, soon we might face a situation where there may not be enough left to grow the foods we need to feed all of us. Do we want to find ourselves in a position where we once had sufficient land for agriculture but lost it due to the installation of solar panels? These concerns highlight the need for careful consideration and thorough evaluation before proceeding with the proposed solar panel project. It is essential to weigh the potential benefits against the potential risks and long-term implications for our community and agricultural resources. Thank you for your attention in this matter. Sincerely, Scott Martin, President and owner of Martin Farms. Is he still with us?
Yep, he's.
Ralph,
Would
were you
you
able
like me
to?
to address that?
Were you able to hear me all right?
Yes, I was. So, I'll start with, a solar farm has very minimal impact to the area. As a matter of fact, you know, in areas where people have farmed the land for many years, the number of years that this particular project will be there, and maybe at some point in the future, it could be extended depending on how technologies are and where we are as a society. The land is actually put back into a better condition than when we found it, because the land itself has time to regenerate from not being farmed on a regular basis, and just, you know, the natural progression of the land healing itself. We will not be using any chemicals on site. The panels themselves do not leach any kind of chemicals into the ground. Our stormwater is managed on site. It doesn't run off site. You know, certainly concerns about, you know, a farm next door, you know, I look at this as it's a solar farm. The only thing we're doing is harvesting the sun's energy. So we're not maybe necessarily growing a product, you know, a vegetable or some kind of crop, but we are harvesting energy for the community. These panels, as I said before, you know, we have the decommissioning approval from the state. We have the bonds that are put up to pay for any removal. Somebody will be out, and I don't want to say immediately, but within 24 hours, if there is a problem detected with one of the panels, to replace it. And that's not because it would cause any damage to anything. It's just to make sure that the system is working efficiently and correctly. Those panels would be replaced. You know, when you look at different things that could be built in an area, and I think I mentioned the last time that I spent 20 years as a volunteer on my local planning board as well. You know, certainly if someone has a tract of land like this, you know, you see in the state of Maine, there's a lot of conversations about there not being enough housing. So, you know, somebody could put a housing development there, and that would be, you know, forever, where you're essentially having a solar farm that's pretty much being preserved as somewhat of open space. Even though the panels are there, it's going to look open. So while his concerns, I certainly understand his concerns, we will have no negative impact on the potato farm or any of the surrounding lands at all. I hope that kind of addresses his particular concerns.
Thank you. Am I correct that if we have no further public? Oh, sorry. Yes, I apologize.
Another question I forgot was about EMFs. Do these throw off EMFs, or is it the array, or I'm not sure how this works, but.
Yeah. So the system doesn't put off anything. It absorbs the sun and then converts the sun into DC electric, and then it's converted over to AC electric, which goes into the power grid that we use. But it doesn't put off any kind of EMF or anything of that nature.
Okay, and I've only driven past these, so I want to know if they're quiet. I think they're quiet, but like I said, I've only driven past quickly. I've never been near them. Are they quiet?
Yes, they are. They don't emit any noise that would disrupt anybody. Maybe there's some low noise from the electric getting converted over, but it doesn't travel. It's maintained on that little area, and it's probably no louder than you know, a little radio.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So if we have no further public comment, we will close that at 6:20. Do I need to bang the gavel on that too? Very good. 6:20, we will close the public comment. Ralph, thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'm just wondering, what is the process in the application here? Do you guys take a vote on it this evening?
I think we can.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can take a vote on this.
Yeah. We would be, if someone were to make a motion, Ralph, it would then be approved to go on to council? Is that, or?
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't go on to council. Okay, just, it would be approved.
I mean, you can talk about it much yourself.
Yep.
Well,
Does-
I'll talk, Mr. Chair. I want to thank Cindy and Scott for voicing their concerns. It was handled very well, and I think Ralph answered your questions equally as well. And I'm very comfortable with the approach and the response that occurred. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, is it okay if I ask a quick question?
Ask away, please.
All right. Hi, Ralph.
Hi.
I just had a quick question in reference to the solar panels.
Sure.
So, given that they are basically soaking in the sun, I also know sun reflects off radiation. So, my question is that something that's monitored through your companies to make sure that there's no radiation concerns and that the environment impacted around the solar farm is safe?
Yes, so all these things, I mean, so the state of Maine has, in the last several years, made a push for solar. They've done a lot of studies to make sure that the environmental impacts aren't there. So these systems are designed to absorb the energy. They don't reflect anything back. One question I've gotten quite a bit is, can it reflect back and affect airplanes up in the sky? And the answer to that is no, because the system itself tracks with the sun, so it's never in one spot all that long. It follows the sun, but it does not radiate anything off of it onto the ground. So maybe the idea of like, if you think of like a magnifying glass, if you were to hold it on the ground and let the sun go through it, it would burn something up. These aren't designed to do anything like that.
Perfect.
Anyone else? Comments, concerns, questions? Is that a good answer?
That's a good answer.
Okay. Happy?
Thanks,
Okay.
Ralph.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. I understand it's a learning curve with these things, and so I might mention it before. Spending 20 years as a planning board member, I try to think with these applications like a planning board member. That's why we try to provide a lot of information so you guys are comfortable with it and understand it. And we certainly do our best as a company to make sure we put forth the best application possible, and we're certainly not going to do anything that harms the environment or anybody, because we want to be good neighbors. And this is something that we're looking to. It's a long-term investment. 25, 30 years. And hopefully even longer if down the road that road opens up for that.
So this is the same paperwork. Eric, I think were the only one that was not here the last time to see this. I think everyone else has reviewed it. Any concerns in any of the documentation? David and I were speaking earlier, and we felt it was well put together.
Clear and concise,
Very much.
very thorough.
Would anyone like to make a motion regarding the site design?
I think we're supposed to go down through the elements of the plan review.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. So the page that we're starting on that, Steve?
11?
Thank you. All right. So the final plan review requirements, starting on page 11. Have we received the 24 by 36 plans and so on, Penny?
I don't remember.
Don't know.
I don't remember. I know I got a lot of, I got a lot of the smaller ones like we had at the meeting last time. I don't remember getting the 24 by 36, but that doesn't mean that, I don't remember seeing them. Ralph, do you know if they were sent, the 24 by 36 size copies?
I want to say yes, but I'm just confirming it right now, so I should have the
Okay.
answer for you in a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we continue on down
Yep.
the, while we're waiting for Ralph to?
Can we? If the code enforcement officer or planning board determines that a third-party review is necessary to make a sound decision, applicant's responsible for any fees. Does the board believe that a third-party review is necessary?
Not for this size.
Okay. Code enforcement officer or chairman of the board or designee?
That's you, my
That's
friend.
me. So we'll wait to hear on the larger sets of plans.
And if we have them upstairs, I can go up and get them and you can sign them tonight. If they
Okay.
send them in time for the next meeting, you can sign them at the next meeting.
So,
Yeah, we can also sign off on one of these.
okay. Page 14, it does say, there's quite a bit listed that says included in.
Let me just, I'm gonna go upstairs and see
Thank you,
if we
Penny.
have
Yep.
them, and I'll do that.
Steve, refresh my memory, on page 11, do we have to, is it up to us to check that off, those,
Yeah.
at this meeting, at this point in time?
So that we end up with more yeses than no's.
The nose.
The NAs don't count.
Right,
Okay,
so we can,
so we can move on to that.
why don't we do that?
A, performance with compliance plan, comprehensive plan, sorry.
It conforms.
I would go with yes on that.
Yes.
If anyone's in disagreement, please.
I think traffic's, it's either a yes or an NA.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Site access, there's very good access that was provided prior. Parking, I mean, there was some space for parking, but it's not a,
It's for their own maintenance.
right,
too.
Yeah.
right.
So that's really an NA.
An NA.
Yeah.
There is no pedestrian circulation on that, so that's an NA. Site conditions,
They've met all of that and then some.
and then there was some open space adequately around it. He mentioned the water sanitation was taken care of.
That'd be an NA, I think.
Okay. Water source then, I assume is I.
NA?
Yeah, NA.
Emergency vehicle access, obviously
Yeah,
that's a yes.
Yeah.
Waste disposal, he said was included. I'm gonna kind of lump that under sanitary sewage and waste disposal. Same as H, which we went with yes on.
There's no sanitary sewage there, there's no porta potty or anything.
Oh, I'm sorry, we went with NA.
Right.
Waste
Yeah,
disposal,
it's-
though.
that's what they're talking about.
Okay. So on K, we're going to go with NA.
NA.
Buffering,
That's been met with their fences and stuff.
okay, so that's a yes.
Natural
Here's
areas.
the one from last week. Last one.
Natural areas,
Yes.
yes. Exterior lighting, I honestly don't remember what exterior lighting was
They
shown.
did address that in their concept plan,
Okay.
and there's one big light as you enter
At
the
the-
premise,
yeah.
remember?
Yeah. Stormwater management,
Yes?
yes. Erosion and sediment control.
Yes.
Buildings.
Did you want a packet?
What was there, if anything, for buildings, you guys?
Do you want a packet?
There's no building.
There's no
per
true
se.
building.
So I would give
There's
that
that, oh, sorry, go ahead, Ralph.
I was gonna say, I'm sorry, there's no buildings.
Okay, so that's an NA.
Yeah, it's an NA, I believe.
Exterior landscaping, that's a yes, that was shown. Infrastructure,
Would be the panels themselves,
so that's,
probably.
that's it,
Yeah.
okay. Advertising features,
No,
not
no.
necessary.
no signage.
design relationship to site and surrounding properties, that was well done.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
There is one sign, there's an emergency contact number that
Okay.
would be on the
Okay.
fence.
So let's go with, we're gonna
Yes.
change T to a yes instead of an NA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Design relationship to site and surrounding properties, that was well shown, I felt. There is no scenic vista area. I'm gonna go NA on that, everyone.
Yep.
Utilities,
Be a yes.
yes. Mineral exploration,
NA.
NA.
phosphorus export, I'm gonna go, that's an NA.
Yeah.
General requirements,
They've been met.
okay. Access management and off-street parking, loading, road designs and construction. I believe that has been met. There is no off-street parking, but access,
Well, they have an access from Van Buren Road.
Right.
DOT, I mean.
Approved.
That's
Right.
approved, so.
I think that's in the packet.
Yeah.
so we're gonna say that's a yes also.
Yeah.
So at that point, going back through really quickly, we have no no's. Everything was either a yes or an NA. And Penny, since you did not come down with any 24 by 36 plans,
You can have that as a condition of approval.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ralph, did you find out anything more about that?
Yes, so in our notes, we didn't have anything about the 24 by 36, only the 10 copies of 11 by 17, but we can send those up to you.
That's fine.
Just let me know how many copies you want.
We need three.
3?
Three.
Okay, we'll get them, they'll probably be shipped out on Monday, so you'll get them Monday next week.
Okay. So after review, I would say the application I would be looking for a motion to approve pending we receive the 3 sets of 24 by 36 plans.
Conditional?
Conditionally approved.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
I'll second it.
Okay, David and Steve. Any comment before we go right to a vote? Steve?
Yes.
Maura?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, it is approved. I need to make the gavel on that too.
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead, and that's for signature.
Thank
All
you.
right.
So do you want our signatures on the 24 by 36, or do you
When
want?
received?
Well,
or-
yeah, I'll get that the next meeting.
Okay.
This is just the application, so we have
Fair
something
enough.
to go by.
Here,
At that point,
start there.
are we
The chairman's gonna sign that.
all set with Ralph?
He's approved.
Yep. Thank you, Ralph. Again, appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board. Everyone have a great evening.
You also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Why can't Machias pens be with black ink for,
You grabbed the wrong one.
you got black ink?
Yeah, come on now.
Why is mine blue?
Because it was all I had in my pocket that day.
Gee.
Oh, shoot. I wrote that in the wrong spot, Penny. Jason. I actually started at the top, Penny, under the code enforcement officer, because, yeah. Can we redo that?
You want us to do another one?
I'm sorry.
And I'll use black ink?
My apologies.
I sure do.
Okay.
Want to borrow this man's pen? I don't believe you.
What do you mean you don't believe me?
Okay. How come? Same company.
Well, yeah, 'cause
Same make and
'cause we
model.
buy 'em blue and black. Thank you. Hopefully you don't have to sign anything else this evening.
I know where the pen is. Okay. No council liaison?
Thank you. No city council liaison updates for 4. While you guys are finishing, we'll move on to 5, new business. A, discussion of zoning at 39 East Presque Isle Road, pages 62 through 64 in your packet.
So you do have a memo in there. I just copied and pasted it from an email from Tony Mitchell. And then he had talked to Steve about it. You've got a couple copies of the zoning map. One of them is like kind of the physical one that we have in the office, which is like the old map. And then I have one printed off of the website, which is like the new map. And you can see that both of them kind of, the zoning bisects the lots there around the river. So it causes an issue with zoning. You can see that the lots are narrow there, and so the owner wishes to put a shed. So to meet the setbacks for an R3 are more difficult than meeting setbacks for an R2.
John's property is the small reddish box on page 63. Is that?
So it looks like they bisected every property.
Yeah.
Whenever you open it up, I'll explain it to you guys.
Yeah, but I think I see what's going on here with the map, yeah. Yeah.
Is this a 100 by 200 foot shed?
14 by 20.
Not quite. It'd be nice, but it's not, no.
If you want, you can go to
Yeah.
the,
Yep.
Okay.
and
Yeah, I can see what I
I'll
see.
try to zoom in.
It's
John,
just the way
thank you
they-
for joining us this
Oh,
evening.
thanks for having
Should
me.
have figured it out by.
My name is Jonathan Scheiber. I live at 39 East Presque Isle Road. I was originally going to build onto my house and just add a garage, which would actually allow the 15 feet. That was the original premise, and then I had back surgery, all that good stuff, so I decided to go with the shed that was a little bit easier. But when I talked to, I guess, the previous gentleman that was in charge of,
Code enforcement?
there you go, because I brought it to him, I said, hey, all these properties are double zoned, like half of it's zone R2 and the other half is R3, so you tell me, my setbacks are different from the front and back. So he was like, yeah, looking at the map, it looks like there might be an error, I don't know, on the zoning, because as you can see, this whole area on this side is zone R2, and then this small section of which I'm on city sewer, I'm inside city lines. The same as this cuts down and around to include properties on both sides of River Road. I'm on the riverside of East Presque Isle Road, and for whatever reason, that zoning never made it back the same as it should have reflected on that side. So, as was mentioned, if it were to show R2 all the way up through East Presque Isle Road, the same as River Road, then that would allow me the setback that I need to put in the shed. So, and it's a mobile shed. It's going to be on skids. It can be moved. You know, all that kind of good stuff. It's not going to look.
What size is the
Junk.
shed?
I'm projecting it to be 14 by 20. So, and it's gonna fall within not too many outbuildings on one property, height requirements, setbacks on the front, be setbacks on the back. Height is gonna be no bigger than 11 foot 5 inches. So that's where I'm at. So when I brought it to Tony, I was like, well, you know, this is what I discussed once before. He said that when I talked to him about the garage before, he said, oh yeah, that we're gonna get that taken care of. You're no problem. That needs to be rezoned, whatever. And I brought it to him because he seemed to think it should only be zoned to the road. But then talking to Tony and looking at the maps, it does look like there might be a chance for R2 to be set across the road as well.
John,
so.
using the
Yep.
picture that's up on the screen, like, is going to be behind the house?
Right. So, well, it's going to be on the side of the house actually.
Alongside of the house,
Right,
okay.
because your plot map zoning maps does not actually reflect the accurate property lines that's in your tax
Okay.
zoning map. So, yeah, so you got 3 properties right there, it'd be on the side, and then this whole area off to that side is all wood lots, stream lots, that kind of stuff. So there is no neighbors on that other side to, you know, that you're gonna upset neighbors, anything like that. And I have pictures on my phone, I meant to print it out to show you what it looks like on that side, but I don't. But,
Was there ever an existing garage, outbuilding, anything in that location prior?
no, nothing existing. I have a gravel pad there
Pad
now,
there.
but nothing existing, so. And is this hearing just for my property, or is it for that section, or would that have to be brought up under official business at another time, or?
No, it's just for you.
Just for you.
Okay. I see.
But what your issue
Yes,
brought it to our
focus.
attention so we can fix the neighborhood.
I see, I appreciate that. So, yeah, so this one would be more of an accurate setup as far, and I would be right there. So that, all that is just wood lots and open field area. So how my house is positioned right there, and I would be putting it on the north end of that. So there's no neighbors or anything, it's all just open.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chair,
Yes, David?
if we granted this gentleman permission to do that, and because we're made aware that changes need to be made, and it,
We can't do that, Dave.
huh?
We can't.
I was just thinking of the future.
We need
I think we gotta
recommend-
change the zone.
We need to
change
recommend,
the
someone needs,
zoning.
right.
We gotta
That'll
fix the whole
neighborhood
problem. I mean,
before-
I was thinking if we gave him the go-ahead, he'd be grandfathered, so if we're more restrictive, but
Can't do that.
can't do that. Hey, I thought I'd try.
Please, John.
I don't know how your guys' board meeting works, however, can I make a motion? To go- Or can you guys only make a motion? Because I know in certain meetings that I partake in, anybody on the floor or participates in the meeting can make a motion. So I didn't know if that's only, that you guys only make motions on stuff like that, or?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
We're in
That's why I'm
the,
asking.
we're in the process of making some adjustments to zoning throughout Caribou.
Okay,
And by you contacting Tony to get a permit for this,
Sure.
it brought it to our attention that this should have been R2 20 years ago.
sure.
And no one ever picked up on it. So it's good that you brought it to us, because we can fix issues for neighbors on your side of the road, plus the neighbors across the road.
probably because nobody ever asked to do anything different is probably what happened. But
It slipped.
So
Somebody,
essentially, John, what somebody might do is make a motion that we review that for, change from an R2 or to an R3 or
From
some.
the board, though.
Correct.
I would make that motion.
So we have a motion from Steve that we, in our review and updating,
To review it and then to make a recommendation to the council that we can
change that.
so that East Presque Isle Road, this whole area that has the red circle around it,
Right.
be
Gets
brought into
changed
the
to the R3.
residential 2.
I'm sorry, residential 2?
Yes.
Okay, my apology.
Yeah, and we've got to do that because to avoid spot zoning.
Right.
Okay.
And this would actually just be an extension of the R2 since River Road is R2, the same residential sort
follow.
of density
Yep.
as coming down the East Presque Isle Road.
So we have a motion from Steve to change that area, to look into having that all changed to an R2.
Yeah, we have to have a public hearing and all that.
That, right. So, John, how that works is that's a little ways down the road, unfortunately. If we have a second on the motion,
Unless it dies for lack of a second. I'll
So-
second.
he was putting you through the paces right there. Okay, so we have a motion from Steve, seconded by David. We'll go down the line again. Any comment before we vote on it? Okay, we'll look for yay or nay from Steve.
Yes.
Maura?
Yes.
I say yes.
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 Okay, that's unanimous.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know if I keep banging that every time or what, but.
Yeah, you're supposed to. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Procedure.
Okay, so,
So can he sleep tonight knowing that it's not gonna be more restrictive? And prevent him from having nightmares about not having a shed?
John, I don't know if it's gonna prevent you from having nightmares or not, but the wheels are set in the right motion. It will be, addressed,
Yeah.
but if you have the shed on order and it's waiting to be delivered tomorrow, you might wanna put it off a little bit longer.
I have wood sitting on the lot,
Okay,
so, but I don't have any truss or anything. I'm gonna do some engineer trusses.
You could have your shed delivered, but it would have to go down behind the house, 15 feet from the sidelines, until we can get the council to change this.
Are you building, you intend to build it yourself?
I'm gonna-
Yeah, I mean, if you're planning to put it on skids, no different than if it was delivered,
So
right,
you could
Steve?
build it down behind the house. And
And then
and
pull it
once we
back
get
I
up.
can call the people and have them put on the flatbed and drive it to the front of the property. If you don't mind, then the steps going forward is you have to put out a public notice or whatever, the rezoning, you have to let them, I guess people know, however you let them know. So that would come up on
How-
official business.
How quickly would that be,
Well,
Penny?
we have your May meeting, there's time to set up a public hearing at the next meeting.
So,
30
If you've
days.
kind of agreed that this is where you want to be, so the line, I don't know if you can see my line.
pretty much right there,
So
right,
it's
straight
gonna be
across
here,
and follow.
and then, I guess, up here where these smaller lots are.
Yep.
Here.
So yes, John, you're looking at 30 days-ish.
Well, then it needs to go to the council.
But then, right,
So
so
45.
right, so we have a public hearing in a month. If there's no issues, similar to the prior public hearing that you just saw, we then send it on to council. Council then has to give it its blessing.
So it makes it a motion.
Yep. Reasonable? Well, at least you have an understanding.
I'll check in and find out when the hearing's gonna be, so I appreciate it.
Okay.
But you can build your building,
Yeah.
just keep it 15 feet from the property line until the council changes the zoning, then pull it up where you want it. Get a permit.
Will that still be on the gravel pad
What's that?
where you're gonna start building?
It's gonna be too heavy, I'm not gonna build it.
No, right, you're gonna-
So I'll have a stack of wood, hopefully before snow flies, that I'll be using it for something. So,
Good.
again, that is.
All right, thank you, John. New business, item B, page 65, the March 29th Housing Symposium in Presque Isle. There is a memo from Penny.
Thank you, Cindy, and thank you, John.
Thank you, Jim, thank you.
I'll leave you to it as well, thank you. Have a
All
good
right,
night.
Thank you.
Door
If
open,
you
door
want to call, if
closed.
you want to call No, you can remove it. If
Okay.
you wanna call, Tony, I mean, even tomorrow, I can email him what the dates will be, so he can give them to you.
Yeah, I'll give him a week or so, I'll give him a call.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much, have a good night.
Thank you.
Memo page 65. I did not attend the planning board meeting, or any of the housing symposium in Presque Isle. Did anyone?
Yes, David did,
You did, David.
yeah.
Do you have any thoughts to share?
I could elaborate a little bit.
Please.
Penny was gracious enough to give you a handout on the different,
And Dave has some, if you'd rather have them this way. These are fancy.
the long and short of it is, there's a lot of activity going on. There was a lot of presenters that had a lot of wonderful information. Unfortunately, one of the drawbacks is everything today is a lengthy process. And it's almost impossible for you to do a project alone. You almost have to enable one of these resources to hold your hand, because it's that complicated. I think what the Economic Development Committee is gonna do, and I'm gonna bring that up because there was 4 of us from the Economic Development Committee that attended that. We are gonna try and simplify that somehow. Basically, because the committee feels that we can't wait 3 years for buildings to keep going up, okay? In light of the fact that city's hurting financially for mills, with the cost of inflation creeping up and bothering everybody, we need to grow a little bit to offset our inflation that's affecting wages primarily. And so, that being said, mid-May, the Economic Development Committee is sending out personal invites to the contractors, possible investors, planners, and we're gonna try and come up with some homegrown solution to speed the process up. Pretty much sums it up. The symposium itself was useful. Young people like you can probably withstand the duration of time. Older guys like me would not. Trust me.
You're putting me in the young group,
I put
David.
you in the young group.
Eric, we're doing all right? I'll let you
Yeah.
stay in the young group with me.
There's a lot of bureaucracy.
Yeah, there
Of
is.
course, it's like that, that's the way life is today.
Was it well attended?
It was very well attended,
Okay.
very, very well attended. I would say there was probably close to 100 people there.
That's impressive. Good.
Yeah. There was some developers, they were short on developer, it was mostly economic development committees and
Mhm.
things from small town politics,
Mhm.
trying to get a handle on where we go, how we get there.
It's a nice packet.
It is a nice
I'd like to
packet.
have some time to review
It
it.
comes from
but-
Jay Cam's office,
Yep.
who we all know.
Yep. Well, thank you for the information,
I'm
David.
trying to think if we had a counselor from Caribou there. I don't believe we did.
I don't think so.
You were in Bangor, right?
I was in Bangor at a manager class.
How'd that go?
Went great.
Good.
Was Lisa at that? At this?
Lisa was at
Lisa
that.
was?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lisa would have been at that.
Lisa
Good.
was at that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's your,
I'll chat with her about it some
Yeah.
too, personally. Anything else to add under that? Anyone? All right, then moving on to section 6, old business. Old business A, LD 2003 on the May agenda.
Yep, that was decided at the last meeting.
Yep.
Because Amanda knew she wasn't
Gonna
gonna
be
be
here.
there, so we put it on May.
Yep.
And we'll be asking Jay to come in.
Right. B, staff have not talked to the Board of Assessors about ideas brought forward.
Right, we haven't had meetings.
Right. So, moving on to staff report.
Staff doesn't really have any report.
Nothing for us tonight, Penny?
No,
Okay.
just a lot of the same, but nothing new.
Nothing new.
We gotta make this drag on a little bit. Penny's gonna go nuts if she gets home before.
Before midnight, yeah.
No. No problem.
Does anyone else have anything to add?
I guess
I
I'd make
would-
a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn from Steve.
Second.
Seconded by Eric. We'll go with yay or nay. Steve?
Yes.
Maura?
Yes.
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 Across the board.
So we will-
Adjourned at,
We'll be addressing that R2 at our next
6:56.
meeting, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
thank you, everyone.
Okay, I'll try to-
Penny, you have a safe drive home.
Actually, I don't want to go to Walmart.
Oh, it's a big night out, Penny.
Yes, I know.